harpist and also a harp teacher and the author of the A to G of Sight Reading series. And I'm here today to talk to you about my latest publication, HARPTICULATE, which is my beginner book for absolute total beginners. And this has taken about 1.5 years of work on the actual writing, and quite a few years before that just thinking about the structure of the book. And it really came about because I was feeling frustrated that there wasn't a book that really followed the way I wanted to teach, which is basically very slowly for beginners, and I wanted a book that went as slowly as I wanted to have my beginners playing. And so I hope that this book does all of those things. They say it certainly does for me, but I hope it does for other teachers and students as well. And I thought it would be a good idea today to talk a little bit about the book and all the things that are in it, the thought processes, and to play you some of the pieces. So the first thing I'd say about this book is that everything in it is done very slowly. So if we introduce a new time signature, a new note or note value, all of these things have at least a page of practice before something else new is then entered in as well. And I think that's really important because it allows the student time to actually learn and understand something before moving on. The early pages in the book, all the first few pieces, are really short, 4 bars, sometimes 5 bars long. So they are really designed to be learnt within 1 or 2 weeks, which I think gives the student a chance to move on quickly, feel like they're progressing, but also feel like what they're learning is very manageable. And they've all got imaginative titles. I tried to choose titles that reflected the music in the book, and the first one that I'm going to play you is called Roundabouts. And this piece is 4 bars long. It has the notes middle C, D and E in the treble clef and a bass clef B. It's in 3/4, so at this point in the book they've learnt a 4/4 time signature and a 3/4 time signature, but we haven't learnt any minims, and we also haven't learnt how to cross the hands in the bar. So each bar has only 1 hand and 1 clef in it to make it really simple and straightforward. The second piece I'm going to play you is another one with just 4 bars, and this one is in 4/4, and at this point they have learnt minims, and we have also introduced another note, which is the bass clef A. And this one is called Musical Mirror. The next piece that I'm going to do, another short one, this one is 6 bars long, so they get gradually longer as you go through the book. And this one has the treble clef F in it, and it's called Who's a Knocking? The next piece that I'm going to play you is one called Missing the Beat. And one thing I do in this book, which I'm not sure you find so much in other books, is a real focus on the counting. So almost the whole way through the book, you have got your counting numbers written into the pieces, in the hope that when the student's learning the piece, those numbers are sort of subliminally going into their minds as they're learning, and they're thinking a lot more about their counting whilst they're playing. We focus a bit on the silent note values, so rests, and in this piece they have already learnt how to do a crotchet rest and also minim rests. So moving on to the next piece, this one is called Memories, and this is a few pages further on, and we're on to 2 lines worth of music. This is, I think, 16 bars worth of notes. And in this piece, we've also progressed to joining fingers and thumbs together. Whenever there's something new that's technical in the book, there is a page with some exercises for students to practice that technical demand, and also the QR codes with videos that will support the hand positions for everything that's new. So this piece is called Memories, and we've also got dynamics introduced by now, and it's a piano dynamic. The next one I'm going to play is another piano one, and this one is called Deep Thoughts. And at this point they're being given the opportunity to express themselves a bit more musically, so the pieces become a little bit more thoughtful. There's perhaps some story behind it, and again, a piano dynamic. The next one that I'm going to play is called Agitated in A minor, and we don't explore keys in this book, so everything is in C major, but we do explore some tonality within that, so we have some minor pieces as well as major pieces, and this one is in 2/4 and it's a forte piece. We then move on to pieces that get a little bit more complex. They start to become hands together, and this one is called the 2-finger waltz, and it's a forte dynamic. You'll notice in that one I did change my dynamic halfway through. To begin with, when dynamics are introduced, they are 1 dynamic per piece, and then they progress so that they're switching between dynamics within the music. And we also have in that one, towards the very end, the last 2 bars, you've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's again something that's a new concept, where the bar is divided up between the bass clef and the treble clef. Something which I found students often got quite confused by in early pieces, and so I wanted to make sure everything in the first few pages was 1 hand, 1 clef, 1 bar, and then as they get more advanced, then we start to mix it up a little bit. It was certainly quite challenging writing pieces with just the 1 hand in 1 bar, so I was quite excited when I got to the later part of the book and was able to write things which had slightly more variation in them. The next piece that I'm going to play is called Falling Leaves, and again this is one that's quite expressive, and we've got a lot more notes now. We're going all the way up to middle C, above middle C, this B here. The next one we're going to do is called Jumping Jack, and this one's in 2/4, and we're going down as far as the D below middle C. And we do introduce a few dance forms within the book, so they have a few waltzes in the book, and the next one I'm going to play is a little polka. And in that one, you'll have seen I was playing properly hands together. That's something that's introduced very much towards the end of the book, and there are again some exercises to just work on playing the two hands at the same time before it's something that's introduced in the pieces. I'm going to finish with a couple of other pieces. The first one I'm going to play is called Giglet. And I'm going to follow that with Arabesque. And this one uses the whole range of notes within the book, which is from this C here all the way up to this C here. So by the time you've done the whole book, you'll have done 2 octaves. And finally, one for fun. This one is called Traffic Jam, and you'll see why when I play it. And there we have it. That is a selection of pieces from the book. There's nearly 70 pages in total. You have lots and lots and lots of pieces, but you also have pages where you're working on rhythms, and that's quite collaborative. So there are bits where the teacher would be playing a piece and the students clapping along. There are some little sight reading rhythm sections. And with all the pieces, I've included QR codes just in case the teacher is in a situation where they can't necessarily play something along on the harp. So all the pieces have been pre-recorded and you can just play them through the QR code to work on with your students. Please let me know if you've got any questions, and I hope you enjoy the book if you're using it.